Hey, what's up guys? RevDMQ here, and I want to talk just a little bit about the new game mode in Battlefield 1, Supply Drop. This game mode came with the newest expansion, In the Name of the Tsar, and I've got to say, I'm really enjoying the game mode. I feel like it changes up how you play Battlefield in some really significant ways, which I want to get to. But first, a quick rundown of how the game works. I'm sure you've played it or seen it, probably have some understanding, but just in case you don't, it's a simple game mode. There are between 1 and 3 objectives at any point on the map, and it's 12 versus 12, and these planes will fly overhead and will drop these supply packages on random locations on the map. And your objective is to capture all of the supplies from that drop before the enemy does. And you stand close to the flags like you would in Domination or in Conquest. And once a supply has been emptied, then a sentry kit or a flame trooper will spawn on that supply drop, and the first person to pick it up gets it. And you play to 500 tickets, and you get tickets by capturing the supplies and by killing your enemies. It's an incredibly fun game, but it's not without its issues, which I will get to in just a bit. So first, I want to tell you what I like about Supply Drop and why I think it's a very good addition to the Battlefield franchise, and why I hope it stays. First, I like that they're smaller games. I like that it's 12 versus 12 rather than 32 versus 32. Don't get me wrong, I love Conquest. I love the 64-man maps, but on a map like Tsaritsyn, 32 v 32 is just a bit too much. So I like that this is a smaller game that is a bit more fast-paced, and I like that the games are shorter. You can play a round of Supply Drop in 15 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, and you feel like you've done something significant, whereas sometimes Conquest or Frontlines can last forever. And when you just want to get a quick game in, you want to get a couple rounds in and feel like you've accomplished something, Supply Drop is very good for that. But what I think is most revolutionary about Supply Drop, and why I think it should be a staple in the Battlefield franchise, is because it's like Domination with changing objectives, with shifting objectives. And this is exciting because when you play Conquest, when you play Domination, when you play Frontlines, you kind of get an understanding of where the enemy is going to be coming from and where you need to go. If you know the map well, then you know all of the routes to take. But what's exciting about Supply Drop is that those avenues are always shifting, and you don't have the exact understanding of where your enemies will be coming from. And so you are always shifting your eyes, you're shifting your line of sight, and you're taking different routes than you took just the game before. And it's an incredibly dynamic game mode, which I think lends itself to the Battlefield franchise in a marvelous way. But I will say, it is not without its issues. It is not a perfect game mode, and there could be some improvement. The first thing is, I think they could do a faster capping rate on each of the objectives, and then just have more objectives drop. And that might mean you need a slower ticket rate as you cap a flag. Maybe you get tickets slower, but the objectives are captured a bit faster. That way, you're moving a bit more around the map, and you feel like you're accomplishing a bit more when you're sitting on the Supply Drop, because it's such a slow ticket rate right now that it's not as rewarding as I think it should be for going in, getting some supplies, and getting out. So I think if you could cap the supply a bit faster and then decrease the ticket rate in the game overall, that would be a bit more fun. Another thing that I think could be improved is a faster ticket rate with more players on the objective. It doesn't feel like there's much of a difference when you've got 8 guys on one supply drop versus 1 guy on a supply drop. And I think if you've got your whole team on one supply drop, that circle should just move very quickly. Another thing that I think could improve is that as this game is 12 versus 12, I find it funny that a round won't start unless 10 players are ready. I think maybe that should drop to 8 players, because in a smaller game mode, you don't need 10v10 all the time. If you've got 8 on 8, it's going to be a fun game, and you should be able to get started a bit sooner. I've spent a lot of time waiting for players to get ready when I'm ready to jump in and I feel like we're ready to go. And then the last thing that I think could improve in supply drop, they've got to do a good job of balancing the teams. The ratios in a 12v12 match are incredibly significant. If you've got 32 versus 30 in Conquest, that's less of a detriment than if you've got 10 versus 12 in supply drop, because when you think of it in terms of ratios, you have a significantly less percentage of players in the map at any moment. I mean, I've had some games where we have just blown the enemy out of the water. I had one game where we won 500-0. That is, the enemy didn't sit on any objective at any moment in the entire round. And it was really boring. And that was because it was 7-4. Even if you're winning 400-0, it's just not very much fun. But overall, I'm incredibly excited to see supply drop added to the Battlefield franchise. I will be playing this game mode a ton. It's an incredibly fun and incredibly dynamic game that is always shifting, and it's always keeping you on your toes. Well, friends, that's my review of supply drop. Let me know what you think. Have you enjoyed it? What do you think could be done a little bit better in the game mode? Leave a comment below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, a thumbs down, and I will catch you guys in the next one.